Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to today's midday bonus. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below, my merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click that like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and guys, it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's midday bonus, shall we? Alright guys, today's midday bonus is a little different than what I normally do, but along the same line. Now you're probably like, Jeff, what's that mean? What that means is I pride myself at being a researcher who researches these very strange animal attacks that have no explanation. Now, there are attacks that meet the criteria and don't meet the criteria. Tony Aaron's Amber Miller is one. Corey Godsey being another. There are a bunch that fall in the meets the criteria for it not being a basic animal attack. And then there are others that do. There have been multiple attacks of bear on person, dog on person, and stuff like that. I received an email my daughter's birthday was on the 1st, so it was Wednesday. I received an email on Wednesday morning asking about the Joe Cleveland Scott case. Now, I first found out about that incident on Tuesday. I immediately looked into it. I called Craig Williams, who is the animal control officer. I also called the sheriff's department down there. Now, what the case is it's an incident of a 65-year-old man. He was in a location kind of in the city, but really there are woods in the vicinity, not a lot. It happened on the 5700 block of Iceland Ave in the McDonald's Chapel community. Now, I looked into it. I was researching a little bit because, I wanted to see if it fit the criteria of a Dogman attack or any other kind of cryptid attack. Now, when I've been researching this for 4 years, I've been doing this stuff for almost 5 years. I'm not an expert at it, anything. I do not consider myself an expert. I pride myself at being thorough when it comes to these attacks. Now, I was looking into a lot of these attacks, or into this attack, and just reading about how everything went down, how Joe Cleveland Scott ended up in the predicament that he was at. Well, when I first looked at the case, it states 65-year-old man in Alabama died after being attacked by dogs Tuesday morning, according to Jefferson County Coroner's Office. Authorities said Joe Cleveland Scott was taking a walk when he was attacked. An autopsy states he died from injuries he had sustained during the incident. Someone passing by the area saw the man surrounded by these dogs. They were attacking him. There was a visible sign of attack. You could see it. It was more than one person who saw the attack. Officials with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department called the Humane Society to trap the canines because they were interfering with the investigation. Lieutenant Johnny Mitchell, or Money, said dogs appeared to be stray with a pack-type mentality. People dump animals, Money said. They say they are unwanted, so they'll just dump them in the area and allow them to run free. They almost revert back to a feral stage and start acting like coyotes or wolves. There's an alpha, a beta, there's a whole line of these, alpha, beta, and the least dominant. Now, many of you do not know this, but if you release a domesticated pig into the wild, it will become feral. It will become a hog within a matter of months, probably even quicker. So these animals are just, they have to learn to survive in the wilderness. So right there, I was looking at that and I'm like, okay, well, there is nothing out of the ordinary that pops out at me. It's pretty cut and dry. Multiple people saw this guy on the ground with these dogs surrounding him, biting him. They weren't licking him like with the Good Samaritan that found Amber Miller. Those dogs were actually licking her wounds. And those dogs were never caught. Okay, that person, the Good Samaritan that rescued her and brought her to the hospital where she later died, those dogs did not attack that man. These dogs during the incident were very violent, very aggressive. They were trying to attack the workers who were trying to lasso them and use their kind of like noose pole to capture these dogs. And they were very aggressive. So after talking to Animal Control Code Enforcement Officer, Mr. Williams, I was like, okay. Well, then I proceeded to call the sheriff. I said, this is all Tuesday after I read the case. In the afternoon, around 5 p.m. is when I started all this. After I read and called the few calls that I made, I sat here and I was like, yeah, this is an animal attack. This has nothing out of the ordinary. So my daughter's birthday, once again, was Wednesday. I did my thing with her, and late last night I was home and I was watching the news, and I wanted to see if there was any more information on the case, just to follow up. Well, the dogs did test positive for DNA of this man. The bites were consistent with the medical examiner's conclusion. And that's another thing, guys, is this medical examiner's conclusion was done. It was done and cut and dry, to whereas when it's a cover up, the medical exam takes a couple weeks to come back. So I'm like, yep, the dogs were euthanized because they were aggressive and they were the cause of a murder, the cause of a death. These dogs killed a man who was walking. So they did put this small pack of feral dog down, and there are a couple of other smaller packs of feral dog that are in the vicinity as well. This is not a Dogman attack. This is nothing except what it is. And that's why I didn't cover it. I don't want to cover something or even talk about something that has nothing to do with cryptid. It's a tragedy. It's sad, but I don't want to confuse anyone either. Brenda Hamilton. I talked about that case a month ago. I told you guys about the petition. Actually, the day I told people about the petition, that night, I watched the petition numbers go up. So it's just things like this that really, you've got to look at keywords. You know, it's an attack and it's a dreadful attack. Oh God, there's dogs involved. Well, that dog attacks happen, unfortunately. There was a woman in Houston, Texas that was attacked by dogs. That was proven to be a dog attack. You know, it's unfortunately, there are cryptid attacks and there are basic animal attacks. They're both tragic, but I don't cover something that's not, you know, and I won't make a narrative either. If there's the proof is in the pudding, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, oh, well, you know, the county's lying about it. It's not like Amber Miller and Tony Aarons. That's not cut and dry. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in there. But this is cut and dry. You know, this is wash your hands and dry them off and you're done, unfortunately. You know, medical examiner's report came back conclusive that these dogs were responsible. Bite marks matched up, the damage matched up, and the dogs were euthanized. All of that is public knowledge. If you guys just look up the case, and you guys can even look up the news videos. It's all public knowledge. So, you know, that's why I didn't cover it. Because it's not anything other than a, unfortunately, feral dog attack. And there are many smaller packs of feral dog. I was talking to another researcher, Bettina Moss, B. Moss. I'm going to be on her show tonight. She's interviewing me tonight, by the way, guys. So if you want to watch that later on. She's from that area. Her and I were talking about how there are multiple little packs of feral dogs running around Birmingham. So, you know, unfortunately things happen. And unfortunately, people die. But it's not all cryptid related, right? You know? So that's why I didn't cover it. I just figured I'd make an upload to answer the questions. Why didn't you cover this, Jeff? Well, because Craig Williams, the animal control officer and code enforcement, said these dogs were violent. They were attacking people, the Humane Society. They were attacking us. So we were trying to get them into these cages. People saw the people saw this man getting killed. He was, you know, defenseless. Things happen. Not everything is an attack. So I figured I'd just share that with you guys. You know, just look into things, you know, and use your gut. You know, your gut's the best decision maker for you. And, you know, don't jump to conclusions without getting all the answers either. Anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you all for all of your support. Once again, I'm going to be doing a interview tonight on B. Moss's channel. She's going to interview me. I don't know why, because I don't think I have anything of interest to say, but she wants to interview me, so I think it'll be a good time. Got tonight's second half still coming up, and Saturday night's live stream. So with that, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, and may the Great Spirit watch over us all and guide us down that path that we call life.